Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and this video is going to be my March and April wrap-up. Yes, I said March. I know we are almost at the middle of May, and because of my projects and travel and everything, I have just not had time to do any kind of a March wrap-up for March Mystery Madness. I haven't wrapped up April and Amish in April, which I didn't do that well. I did not do well for Amish in April, but I'm just going to combine March and April into this one video and let you know what I read. Now, I did do kind of a mid to late March update, and I talked about some of the books I had already finished. That's the video where, if you care to know a little bit more about the details of what I thought about some of these, you will want to go back and check out that video, because I did talk about them a little bit more. At this point, I don't remember much about the details of what I read. So I'm just going to kind of go through, tell you what I read, and we'll just go from there. And I apologize, I'm a little bit tired right now, but I'm determined to get this video done today. I've been at work for the whole afternoon. I work from noon to 4 at the bookstore where I work on Fridays. This morning, I got up, did some eBay listings, went and did our nursing home program that we do, kind of a church service at a local nursing home. And then after work, I went by for a few minutes. I've been helping a friend who is disabled and is moving, and she needs all the help she can get to get her things packed and ready for the move. So went by, helped her for a little while, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to come tomorrow early. I got to go home and get some rest and film a video. So here I am. All right. So I did pretty good in March for March Mystery Madness. I finished a total of 18 or 19 books, for sure 18. And the reason I say or 19 is because I had a bind up of 2 books that I listened to right at the end of the month, and I think they carried over into April, but I'm not absolutely sure. So on paper, I'm counting them for April, but I might have finished them because I was on the road. Emily and I left on March 31st, and I know I listened to the last several hours of it on the road, but was it that first day I was on the road, or was it the next day? I think on into the next day, which would have been April 1st. So I think I've got it right. Anyway, 18 books that I finished in March. All of those were audio. Now, I did start some print books, and I carried 4 print books with me on the trip, and I finished 2 of them on the trip. I finished a third one right after I got back, and then the other one was when I was reading with Emily, which we didn't plan on finishing until the end of April. So several of the books that I had started, well, all the books I started in print for March, I didn't finish. Either I haven't finished them yet, or I didn't finish them until the next month. And that was fine. It's all going to come out in the wash. I will get done what I get done. But there were a couple of things, and they're still on my currently reading list, that I had said, I was carrying over from January to February, that I said, at the end of February, I'm not even going to pick these up until June, because March Mystery Little House Readathon, I started 2 books, and print books, and then those I'm not picking up till June. But then we have March Mystery Madness, and then Amish in April, well, my trip, and then Amish in April. Now we're in middle grade May, so, it's just going to have to wait until June. And I'm thinking of doing just June again this year, where I'm just going to read what I feel like reading, try to finish up some things, for different challenges and stuff, but it's just going to be a just month where I'm not going to stress about getting, a whole lot read, and I'm just going to have a just June type of month. So anyway, if you'd like to join me for that, I hope you will. Anyway, so how many times can I say anyway? Let's get started with what I read. So let's just go on with the mysteries. So I mentioned that I read or finished 18 books in March, and all of those were either straight up mysteries, mystery thrillers, or romantic suspense, which can still count as a mystery. Then, and that was all 18 that I finished in March. So for April, then, I did read 3 more mysteries. A couple of them were for read-alongs. All total, for my read-alongs for April, I read 4. Some of those were mysteries, and at least one was for another read-along. And then for book club, in March, I read 3 books for book club. In April, I read 1. And I did not get anything finished in... Actually, I did finish a book. No, okay. So I started a middle grade book for middle grade March, and I didn't finish it. It's also on my SAS list. I didn't finish it until April. And now I'm reading the 3rd one in that trilogy during the month of May for middle grade May and for my SAS list. Then the nonfiction book that we read together, Emily and I, we finished in April. And then I only did 1 Amish book for April. I started, and that was audio. I started a second one. I thought I was going to get it finished. Things got in the way at the end of the month. I didn't get it finished until May. And then, because that was the second one in a trilogy, I went on and I listened to the 3rd book in the trilogy in May. So, for all intents and purposes, I could say I read 3 books for Amish in April. I just didn't get them all read in April. So, it's all good. I enjoyed it, and I'll just go ahead and show you. What I read is the trilogy by Beverly Lewis called The Courtship of Nellie Fisher. The first one is The Parting, and what The Parting is referring to, I believe here, is that these girls in this family, their sister, well, Nellie is one of the girls, her sister, I think it's her older, I don't know if Nellie's the oldest or if the sister is older, but anyway, her sister has died. She drowned just a couple of months before the opening of the book. And I believe that's the parting that it's referring to. Now, this is also set, this whole trilogy is set in a time in history, I want to say it's the 60s or early 70s, when the Amish church in real life had a split. Some of them wanted to really go towards more the evangelical Christian faith and put their faith in Jesus, and others wanted to stick with the old order ways and the Ordnung and let that be their guide, and there was a split. So it was almost kind of like a civil war, because there were people in families, some wanted to believe, some believed one way and some didn't. And I believe Beverly Lewis had grandmother or great-grandmother who was Amish, and is one of those people who left the Amish church because she wanted to put her faith in Jesus and the assurance of salvation and everything like that. Whereas the older Amish believe that it's prideful to think that you could know for sure that you were going to heaven. And so it's really interesting, the underlying story between all of that. But of course there is some romance and things like that. So it was a good trilogy. I enjoyed it probably more than the 5-book trilogy I read last year, which was Abram's Daughters. It was just one big soap opera. It was enjoyable to a point, but oh my goodness. So this I thought was much better. So I read The Parting. I listened to it on audio. I finished this one, and then I started book 2, which is The Forbidden, and finished it in May, which you'll hear about again in my May wrap-up, and then also listen to The Longing, which is book 3. But in case you miss my future wrap-up, just know I thought this was a pretty good series. It's set in the late 60s or early 70s, somewhere around in there, and I thought it was good. Okay, so clearly I'm not going to do these chronologically, because I've already talked about what I read in April and May. But let me do all the small stuff first, and then we'll get to the mysteries. So the nonfiction book that Emily and I read together is called He Touched Them. This is a coffee table book that's published by Ideals. Beautiful book. Really enjoyed it. It has, it basically covers the life of Jesus as he was here on earth. And also there are paintings and poems. There's all the different... well, it's divided into subject matter, like there's Jesus' miracles, and there's the disciples, the apostles, and just different subject matter, parables, things like that have to do with the life of Jesus. And I enjoyed it, and I think Emily enjoyed it too, for as much as she could comprehend it. There's beautiful paintings and pictures and things like that, so it was definitely worth reading. And then the middle grade book that I started in March and didn't finish until April is Rebels by David Liss. And this was really good. I'm reading book 3 right now. I'm loving it. Y'all, this is such a fun trilogy. Science fiction, space adventure, and I love it. So if you enjoy science fiction at all and middle grade books, then I want to encourage you to start with Randoms and then move on to Rebels, and then Renegades is book 3. Then the read-along that I'm doing that's not mystery related is the Follow Us to Fair Acre read-along that is hosted by Kate Howe. Now, we were supposed to read 2 books in March, 2 in April, and now 2 in May. So it took me just about the whole month to read Tyler's Row, and this is book 9. This is book 9 in the Fair Acre series. I think I did get done with a couple of days left, and I went on and picked up the second book. Now, this is a book that has 3 different books in it. This is Christmas at Fair Acre. We had already read book 10, which is Village Christmas. So the second book in this book is the book we were supposed to read in addition to Tyler's Row for the month of March. Again, I didn't get this done until the end of April. The book is The Christmas Mouse, and if I can find a fun picture of a cover from the book, I will show you here. So it was a fairly short book, a little over 100 pages maybe, and maybe 150, and I did get it finished just in time for the month to end. So, well, maybe a day or 2 early, actually. But I didn't want to go ahead and start on the next one until the next month. I kind of wish now that I had, because I started the month of May 4 books behind, but I don't want to read 4 of these all in one month. I will read the 2 for April in May, and if I can get started on the first one for May, then finish up, the rest of them in June. Try to get caught up by the end of June. Anyway, very idyllic, beautiful. I love the books. And I have some comments. Of course, I didn't get to be on Kate's live stream for this one because I was traveling, but I am just bursting with some comments about this. And I watched their live stream, and they didn't bring up any of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. So if I ever get a chance to be on her live stream again, I'm going to say, hey, can we just talk about Tyler's Row one more time? Because I gotta talk about this stuff. Anyway, those were great. And then the other read-along that I am participating in that I did make some progress in, well, there's actually two read-alongs that are cozy mystery related, and I am way behind now in the Jen McKinley read-along. I did get Death by the Dozen done right at the end, or right at the beginning of March, I believe. I think it's March. I don't know. All my months are getting mixed up now. Anyway, yeah, because now I need to read the second Library Lovers mystery in print, and I had it checked out from the library all during the month of March, and I had to go ahead and check it back in, and I thought I had a copy, but I can't find it if I do. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to check it back out again, but so I'm kind of stalled on that read-along, but I will get caught up. Meanwhile, the book I took with me, I think, is number 3, Pinned for Murder. This was the March book for the Killing Time with Cozy's Southern Sewing Circle mystery read-along that we're doing. This is a series by Elizabeth Lynn Casey, also known as Laura Bradford. Laura Bradford is her name, and Elizabeth Lynn Casey, I think, is the pen name. Anyway, I did not get this finished in the month of March, so I took this with me on my trip. I finished it on the trip, and I didn't take the next book with me, but I got home in time to hurry real fast and read the next one. So I did manage to stay caught up with this read-along. So Deadly Notions is book number 4. I didn't get it done in time for the discussion, but I did get it done by the end of the month. So now that these characters are fresh on my mind, I went right on at the beginning of May and started book 5, and I'm reading it now. I'm about half done with it. I'm going to go ahead and just get that finished before I go back to the Jen McKinley read-along, because it's just easier for me, while the characters are fresh, to just go ahead and zip through a couple of books. I don't think I'd want to read a 4th one right in a row, but I'm good with 3 in a row is about my binge limit until I kind of start getting, tired and needing a break. So that's a good thing. I also listened to a couple of other, 3 other cozy mysteries. I listened to Live and Let Chai by Bree Baker. My sister gave me most of this series, and I found that they're on audio. I had thought I would listen to more of these, but I only got this one done, and I'm counting this for the ABC challenge that Killing Time with Cozies is doing. That's counting as the letter L. Then I decided to pick up a couple of books from a 4-book series that I've had on my shelves ever since I started BookTube, because I kept hearing Troy Towell talk about these and a few other booktubers. And this is the Blanche series, and this is the series is by Barbara Neely. So I wanted to go ahead and get at least, well, I really kind of wanted to get all of them read, but I discovered that especially the second book had a little more social commentary than fun mystery, and I was really in the mood for a fun mystery because I had my head, really focused on doing my family directory and everything. So I only got 2 of these read. I will go back and finish the series. They are very enjoyable, but there was like I said, it was real heavy on the social commentary, and I'm happy to read that. It's very eye-opening, but that just wasn't what I was in the mood for at that moment. What I was in the mood for is a whole bunch of canine romantic suspense books, and I listened to an entire series. It was I think it was the Rocky Mountain Canine Unit series, and I can't even tell you anything about them now except that they all took place in the Rocky Mountains, but I will show you the covers. I don't have physical copies of them. I have been collecting most of these canine romance series, and this one particular series I didn't have any of, but I saw that they were on audio on Hoopla, and I just started listening to them. And when I just needed something that didn't require my whole brain because I was focusing on working on my family directory, I just zipped through these. I loved them. They were exactly what I needed at the time. So that whole last week and a half or so of March, these are what I listened to on Hoopla. So let me get back to my Goodreads, and I will tell you the titles. All right, I think this is the right order. If it's not, I'll put them on, but this is the order they're showing up on Goodreads. Of course, sometimes if you listen to more than one in the same day, they don't stay in the right order. So let me just tell them to you. Detection Detail by Terry Reid. Then we have Ready to Protect by Valerie Hansen. The next one is Hiding in Montana by Laura Scott. And then we have Undercover Assignment by Dana Mentink. Defending from Danger by Jody Bailey. Tracking a Killer by Elizabeth Goddard. Explosive Revenge by Maggie K. Black. And Rescue Mission by Lynette Eason. So if this series has a set of Christmas novellas, I did not read or listen to those. I need to look it up and see, because like I said, I haven't purchased any of these. I just listened to what there was available on audio on Hoopla. So then I exhausted that series, and I still had some time. So I picked up 2 from another series. It's the Alaska Canine Unit series. And the first book in that series is Alaskan Rescue by Terry Reid. And then Wilderness Defender by Maggie K. Black. So then I went back to Hoopla. I still had a little bit of time left, and I saw that there was another title in that series. So I just didn't really look at it. I just went ahead and checked it out. So then I started listening to it and realized it was a bind-up of the 2 I had just listened to. So I was trying to pack, and I couldn't really focus on it anyway. And I thought, I'm just going to listen to this. It's just background noise kind of in my ear. I'm listening to that and not worry about anything else. And then just before I get on the road, I will check out some more stuff. It was the last day of the month, so I wanted to use up my Hoopla borrows. And I went on Hoopla on the last day of the month to use up the rest of my borrows, and I got this message saying that my library system had reached its cap for the day, but I was welcome to come back tomorrow and check out more books from Hoopla. Well, tomorrow is a whole new month. Doggone it. That was so frustrating. And then I just got frustrated with the whole thing, and I ended up just listening to podcasts and mostly YouTube videos after I did go ahead and finish listening to that bind up of the two again. And so that bind up has its own name. It's called Deadly Alaskan Pursuit. It's got the same dog as Alaskan Rescue, same picture, but it has both Alaskan Rescue and Wilderness Defender both in the same bind up. So anyway, it was fun. I was just frustrated because, well, okay, I was frustrated because I wanted to check out more books, and, it's not my fault that everybody else waited till the last day. So did I. So what that teaches me is that I need to not wait until the very last day. If I have several Hoopla Borrows left that I plan to use, I need to go ahead and a couple of days before the end of the month, at least use some of them. And even if I save one or two till the end, at least I haven't, wasted all of them by waiting to the last minute for all of them. So, lesson learned. So, the two Alaska ones that I listened to, I can show you those. Alaskan Rescue by Terry Reid and Wilderness Defender by Maggie K. Black. Y'all, these canine love-inspired suspense books are really good. Each of the series is about a different unit or a different first responder group or a different group of investigators. And each series has its own overarching series that carries through the entire series, but then each book has its own romance and its own crime or mystery or something that has to be worked through or solved within each individual book. So you could read them out of order, but there is, like I said, an overarching mystery that carries from beginning to end of the series. So I had said during March Mystery Madness that I would do a video about all of these, and I'm sorry I didn't get it done. I just ran completely out of time, but I will still do something because I love these books and I want to tell you a little bit more about each of the series. So a few other books then, my book club books that I listened to. Most were mysteries. I listened to The Maid by Nita Prose. I did really enjoy this. I liked how the main character, I liked how her exceptionality and her neurodivergent character and her character traits were portrayed, and I thought it was a good book. Then The It Girl by Ruth Ware. Surprisingly, I enjoyed more than I thought I would. I did not like The Lion Game. I liked Woman in Cabin 10, okay, and that's the only two that I've read so far. But I think I probably still liked Woman in Cabin 10, maybe better than this, or this rates up there somewhere around, around the same. But I didn't hate it like I did The Lion Game. Then Peril at the Exposition by Nev March is book 2 in the Captain Jim Agnihotri series, and I did not enjoy this nearly as much as the first book. The first book was set in India. This second book is set in the U.S. at a World's Fair. I already can't think what World's Fair, but anyway, I don't know. I just kind of lost interest in it about halfway through, and I didn't love it. Then for book club for April, I listened to The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. I was worried I wasn't going to like this one either, but I liked it much more than The Huntress. The Huntress just had way too much foul language. This had a little bit, but the main character was so intriguing, and I just really enjoyed this one. Man, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I feel like I'm having a hot flash, and I'm way past those. Anyway, one last book that I read. So this kind of was for a read-along from 2022. Storm from Storm Reads said that she was going to host a read-along of The Killing Floor by Lee Child, which is the first Jack Reacher book, last year for March Mystery Madness, and I had it on my to-read list, and I just never got to it. So this year, rather than read the one that she was actually leading, I decided to go back and listen to this one. And I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but I really enjoyed it. And I don't even remember at this point if there was foul language or not. I'm sure there was probably some, but I seem to recall that there wasn't that much. And it wasn't as grisly gritty as I was worried that it would be. So anyway, I may be completely wrong about what I'm telling you right now, because honestly, I can't remember anything about it. But at this moment. But I remember being really interested in it, really intrigued by it. It kept my interest and wanting to read more of the series. So it may be too gritty for some of you. I mean, it looks rather gritty just from the cover, but I don't recall it being over the top and out of my comfort zone, at least not not super far out of my comfort zone. So I definitely do want to pick up more of the Jack Reacher books. So I think I've covered everything that I finished in the months of March and April. And I also did sort of finish my family directory project. Since I've come back home, I have made all the corrections that needed to be made. I'm still waiting on some information from one more second cousin, and as soon as I get her information, then I'm going to clean it up just a little bit more. I need to put some new page numbers on and things like that, and print out some new copies and stuff. So I think that is everything that I read or listened to in the month of March and April. Let me know what you read for March Mystery Madness or Amish in April. I would love to know. And I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.